And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hey there, my friends. It's the Game Boy Geek here. You've probably heard of a game called Power Grid if you're watching this video. It was made by Rio Grande Games and designed by Friedman Freeze. Today we're going to look at sort of a spin-off of that game, also from Rio Grande Games and Friedman Freeze, called Power Grid First Sparks. So it's its own standalone game. It's not an expansion. It's meant, so it came out about 10 years after Power Grid first came out, and what he's trying to do is bring the mechanics, some of them that are from Power Grid, streamline them and put them in a game that can get played in 60 minutes or less. So you can play with 2 to 6 players, ages 13 and up, trying to build your clan, hunt for food, and see who can have the biggest clan at the end of the game. It's pretty cool. Let's check it out, and I'll show you how it's played. Alright, in Power Grid First Sparks, we have the game set up here. This is just an overview of how the whole game plays. I'm going to be zooming into different areas, but over here we have sort of the fields where hunting and growing your clans go on. Here we have the technology area, where you could be buying technology. And up here is where you're going to be harvesting resources and keeping track of your clan members. And then over to the side here is pretty much my players' area of the board where I keep what I have and all my food. The object of the game is to be the first clan to have 13 clan members. See, this one's colored a little different color than all the rest. There's 4 players in this game: yellow, white, red, and blue. And here we have player order: 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. And again, the different resources here for food. We have fields, grains, we have mammoths, we have bears, we have berries, and we have fish. So we're going to go through the 4 phases of this game in one round to show you how it's played. Before I show you the first phase, here is sort of the layout of where things are. We showed you the different resources of mammoths and bears and berries and fish, but they also correspond to spots on the board. For example, this yellow player is next to berries, the white player is next to a pond where you can hunt for fish, the blue player is next to the woods where you can hunt for bears, and the red player is next to the fields where he can hunt for mammoths. And you can see there's multiple of each of these in this specific way of setting up the 4-player game. Now to start the game, the technology market is set up so that the value of the cards goes from smallest to largest. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's how the game's set up. We have a draw pile off to the side. Now, the cost for the different things are the cost in food. Food is currency in this game. So you see some of them cost 0 and to 1 to 2, and as the bigger cards come out, they'll cost more. So the first 4 cards are the current market, and the next 4 cards is the future market. As things get bought, these will sort of slide up and be in the available market. Now, player order is very important in this game. In fact, it's actually reversed than most games, is that being first is actually usually the worst thing to be in this game almost every round. So you actually want to almost be last in player order every time. And let me show you how phase 1 goes, is buying new technology. So starting with the first player, this is the only round where the player actually goes in normal player order. So we'll go blue here, he's first. He is going to try to buy something from the market. But he can't just easily just buy something. He has to find something that he kind of wants and then offer it up to everybody else in line in that order. Now if you remember, blue is next to the bears, which means the only thing that fights a bear is the bow. So he really wants a bow, but it's not available now. So he's probably going to try to offer something up that somebody will take up here so that his bow will slowly move up, hopefully. So in this case, he knows the yellow player is next to berries, and they're probably going to want the basket. So he offers up this basket, and he goes, does anybody want this basket? And it goes in player order from lowest to highest here. So the red player will say yes or no, the white player will say yes or no, and the yellow player will say yes or no. The player last in line that wants to buy it gets to buy it. So let's say the yellow player, since he's on berries, he needs a basket in order to harvest berries. The yellow player buys it for 0 food. So this would go to the yellow player. A new card would get drawn, and they would get put in order. So we have 9 would slide up, 10 would slide up, 11 would slide up, and the rest of these come out randomly. We have 26. So now the blue player, since they did not buy anything, now the yellow player bought something, so sometimes they put them on the side so we know that they've bought something already. Now, the blue player, again, gets to offer something up. Well, if he can get one of the other players to buy one of these two things, he can get the bow. So he offers up fire. Now, fire is really important because every round, everyone that doesn't have fire is going to lose a third of their food from spoiling. So he goes, I'm going to offer up fire. And the red player takes it. So the red player and the white player doesn't want it. So the red player takes it and he gets fire. He pays 1 food. And then another card comes. The white player bought it. So now this number 19 comes up, and again we shift like this. And now the bow's for sale. So now the blue player is going to say, I want to offer up the bow, hoping that the red player doesn't take it. Now the red player is on mammoths, and you need a spear for that, which is right here. So the red player is probably not going to take the bow. So he offers up the bow. The red player doesn't want it, so the blue player pays 1 food, which is this green field token here, and he buys the bow. I'm going to put it down here in the blue players, and then this shuffles up here. Another card comes up, and they go in order. And now it's the red's the only person left, so he gets to pretty much take anything he wants from these top 4 cards. Red needs a spear, so he doesn't have it. So maybe he'll take this field, because with the field grains, you get those every round no matter where you are on the board. So he pays 1 food and takes the field. And another card comes up, and it's actually 27. So this is how that goes for the next round. If the first one was not bought, even with this free food on it at the end of this round, this actually gets discarded from the game. And another one comes out. So that's the beginning of the first phase. After that, everybody's food, 1/3 of their food, rounded down, spoils, and you have to give it back to the pot unless you have the fire. So at that point, so the first phase is buying technology and spoiling food if you don't have fire. Now on to phase 2, which is going hunting and then feeding the clan. Now all the other actions go in reverse player order, which is why it's actually good to be in bad player order here. So yellow is first, and so they are on the berries. And let's say that they did get the baskets in the earlier round. So as long as yellow is next to a place where they can harvest berries, and they have a tool, like a basket, that they can get them. Let's put this here so you can see. This is the tool they have. It's a basket. And what it says is if there's 1 to 6 berries left, they get 1. If there's 7 or more, they get 2. Let's take a look at the harvest field. Well, at this time of the game, there's only 4 berries. So if they had 1 to 6, they only get 1. So they take this 1 berry and they put it into their food stock. Now the next player in reverse player order is white. They do not have a rod, a fishing rod to fish, so they can't hunt. But everybody starts with some herb cards. They'll actually get some food for those. They look something like this. Or in this case, they would get 1 food no matter what, no matter where they are. So everyone's pretty much going to get that. But they can't hunt for anything else because they're in the place of a fishing pond, but they don't have a fishing rod. But if you remember, I think they had the fire, so theirs didn't spoil. So they can't hunt. So now you go to the next player, which is red. Red is where the mammoths are. For the mammoths, you need spears. They did not get that. They had just gotten an extra field. So in addition to the herb card that they got to start the game, they'd also get 3 of these food. And the green grains are worth 1 and the yellows are worth 3. So they would get that from just the fields. And then the last player is blue. He is in with a bear. And if you remember, the bears need a bow. He has a bow. If there's 1 to 7 bears, he gets 1. If there's 8 or more, he gets 2 of them. Well, there's only 2 of them there, so he will get 1 bear. Actually, there's 3 of them there, but he still just gets 1. He gets 1 bear and he gets to put this in his stock on the side near his board. Looking at that blue player's board, again, he just got the bear. He had these grains that he started the game with. He had the herbs and he had the bow. Now these are considered tools, and you can only have 3 of them at any time. If you get a 4th one, you must discard 1. And that's pretty much how his looks like at this point in the round. And so now that we've hunted, we're going to feed the clan. So again, starting with the last player, yellow, we're going to feed the clan. Now all of us only have 1 clan member out on the board, so all of us have to pay 1 food to the pot, 1 at a time. Now we're moving on to phase 3, which is spreading the clan. Again, starting with the last player, which is really important. When you're last in this phase and in the hunting phase, it's pretty huge. You get a big advantage. So we're going to start with yellow. Now to move a clan, essentially looking at this card here for the cost of spreading your clan, depending on the clan members that you're going to add, shows you how much food. So for 1 clan member, you only have to pay 1 food. For 2, it's 3 food. If you want to do 3 clan members, it's 6 food, and so on and so forth. So let's say they wanted to add 1 clan member. They would take a clan member, and they would add it, and they have to move somewhere adjacent to where they already are. Now keep in mind, they're already here with berries, so they might want to move to either here to fight mammoths with a spear, or here to fight bears. Now at this point, they might look at the technology market and see, is there a bow or a spear there, or coming up soon, to be able to buy one. And so maybe they go here to the mammoths, and they move there, and they pay their 1. Now there are some additional costs as things move on. These white things here are mountains, and if you go over a mountain, it's 1 additional food to add your clan members. Also, as the game moves on, sometimes there'll be many clan members here. For example, maybe there were 2 here. If you wanted to move here, you would have to pay the normal costs. So if you had paid, if you were just moving 1 clan member here, it would normally be 1, because you're only doing 1 clan member. But then you have to add an extra food for each person. So I am the 1, 2, 3rd person there. I would have to pay 3 extra food for a total of 4 just to move 1 guy here. So as you can see, that's very costly. And so what happens is during the game, you're trying to sort of branch out to different areas so you can hunt more of different things, but you're also trying to stay kind of on your side and trying to build up your own side of the board to keep other people out, because you know that once you have to start going in where other people are, the costs to move your clan are more. So continuing player orders, white. Maybe white goes and does 2 moves. Maybe he puts a clan here, and he puts a clan here. It's just there was no mountains and no other clan members. It's just 2 clan members is 3 food, so they pay their 3 food and they've moved there. Let's say red moves 1 person. Let's say they go there, and let's say blue just decides not to move. So as they added their clan members, they moved their colored pawn to how many total clan members they have at that point. And so what we do in phase 4 is bureaucracies. We determine the new player order for the next round. So the one that's in the lead will be player number 1. And again, player number 1 isn't necessarily a good thing, as you can see, because everything happens pretty much last in this game, from last to first. Now, red and yellow are both tied. So the person with the higher numbered technology card, let's say these are technology cards, whoever has the one with the higher number will be basically higher in the player order. So let's say red had the higher number, it would be 2, yellow would be 3, and blue didn't move any guy, so he's last in player order, which sometimes can be smart, but it's a trade-off between building and getting your area so it doesn't cost as much when there's more people, versus getting the best of everything in the next world. So that's the first part of phase 4. We determine player order. We then refill the resources. So each of these were set up at the beginning of the game with these numbers, and of course you follow the directions as to, it's different depending on how many players and which tiles are out here and such. But to make it easy, once you set it up once, you have this. So we're going to add 6 berries to here. We're going to add 4 fish. We're going to add 3 bears. And we're going to add 3 mammoths. Boom. So now, as you can see, those are much higher now. So the tools that we showed you earlier, you can start getting more food as those start to build up over time. And the final thing we do in bureaucracy is updating the technology market. And to do that, all we do is take the highest card, put it at the bottom of the pile, and take a new one and readjust. And this is the last one. So that's pretty much the end of the first 4 phases and 1 round of the game. Those 4 phases happen over and over again, and until someone has the 13th clan member, and then they win. Now you can go over 15 to try to do a tiebreaker there, over 13, but essentially you're trying to grow your clan. And it's interesting because the way it works is between jockeying for player order and figuring out which one you want here. If you want something in the higher market, to get somebody to take something here, to move that up. And then the whole idea of the hunting and moving your clan and how fast to build, because if you build really fast, you use a lot of food, which means you won't have a lot of money to buy a lot of these other bigger cards. So it's a trade-off between how fast to move, what to get, what player order you want to be in. Maybe you want to move slowly so you're always last in player order so you get first time. Or maybe you just want to move really fast to cover as much of the board as fast as you can so it costs other players more. There's a lot of interesting decisions and deciding each decision, deciding what to do and what to buy and what to offer and how much to move is really interesting in this game is once this starts getting overpopulated, when everyone starts getting 8, 9, or 10 clan members, and this thing is crowded, and the least amount you're going to be paying for even just one clan member is probably 6, things like that. Those are the decisions that this game, but you go through those 4 phases until someone gets 13 clan members, and you are the winner. Well, there's Power Grid First Spark, so what do I think? Well, you may have remembered that I just did a review on Power Grid Factory Manager, and I loved that one. I also love this one equally as much. I really do. They're so different, yet similar in a little bit of a weird way. I do love them, and I'm going to keep both of them because they're different enough from each other. They both play at about an hour. Let me tell you what I love about this game. I love the fact that the player order in this game puts everything on its head, where the first player in player order just has the worst time the whole game. And the people that are in last place in the clan, you end up being last in player order. But that's great for you in every phase of the game. So it helps you sort of catch up. So, and never have I ever seen a runaway leader with this game. And never have I seen it just stagnate. There's always something going on. I love, how you go through the same 4 phases every time. So once you get into the game, you've played it once or 2 or 3 rounds of the phases. It's just boom, click, you know what you're doing. The decision making in this game is awesome. I love how, there's 2 real crucial phases where when you're doing the technology buying and you're looking around to see, okay, I want something here, but if I get this, if I offer this up, somebody else is probably going to take it because they're also in the pond. So if I want this fishing rod, someone else is probably going to take it. Is there anything I can take that nobody else is going to want? Or is there anything that I can offer up that if somebody takes and I can get enough people to take enough things, that I can get probably the most powerful weapon or tool this game for me. So it was really cool. That decision of trying to figure out what to offer and trying to guess what people might want was really cool. I loved that aspect of the game. Very interesting. The other aspect that I really loved was the decision of when you're building your clan and you're making it bigger. And the trade-off between paying a lot more food and building maybe 2 or 3 or 4 clan members this round versus staying behind everybody and just building maybe 1 or 2 and staying behind them in player order so that you're constantly getting the best pick. You're getting the best pick of technology, you're getting the best pick of where to move, but you're slowest. So there's really interesting strategies of, do I stay behind to get that edge in player order and then build up a lot of food and then boom, in one last round jump in front of everybody? Or do I just really stay ahead of everybody the whole time, but I get maybe the worst pickings and I have to pay more food, but if I'm getting more food and I get good stuff, maybe I can win that way. I really loved the intricacies of how those 2 were dealt. They were really tough decisions, and every game is going to play out differently because you're going to start on different tiles, the board's going to get laid out differently, the players you're playing with are going to have different strategies. So every game sort of plays out very differently, and not one strategy you're going to use every time, because you're going to adapt to what's available in the market, what the other players are doing, and where you started the game, and what the board looks like. So the replay value is high. So anyway, in final summary, I love this game. I don't think I could say a bad thing about it. I'm going to keep it forever. I'll be playing this a lot, and definitely take a chance at looking at Power Grid First Sparks for sure.
So much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.